Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Gurureva Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Chinmayam Vyapiyat Sarvam Trailokyam Sacharacharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrityormukshiya Mritat. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrityormukshiya Mritat. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrityormukshiya Mritat. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrityormukshiya Mritat. For most people, this mantra is about warding away illnesses, early death, difficulties. But besides all that, this is also a moksha-dayak mantra, that which liberates us from all sorrows, all problems, the very cycle of birth and death, and therefore even karma bandhan, the bondage as a result of our own actions and the consequences of our actions. So we have seen now what the Lord, when we say God, what do we mean? The absolute Satchidananda Brahma as Ishvara with the three eyes. So Lord of the three worlds, the Lord with the three eyes of justice, compassion and knowledge. And what is, once we know it, how does it change our attitude to God, to life, and even towards ourselves? So that we have seen elaborately yesterday. Now, the next word in the mantra is Yajamahe. I worship. Now, the word Yaj means to worship. You worship that which you adore, and also means to offer. English word is sacrifice. Now sacrifice means compromise. And the moment we hear the word sacrifice, all we think is marriage. At least now they don't say marriage is a sacrifice. They say marriage is a compromise. Yeah, so now compromise, sacrifice, all have become the same, but it means to offer. Now it's very important to understand what yaja means. What is sadhana? What is the practice? One, we understand yaja as yajna, as pointed out in the Veda, ancient Vedas, that yajna means some form of fire sacrifice. Later on, as Kali Yuga approached, it was there before also, but where fire is not possible indoors, then came that worshipping icons. I don't use the word idols because, yeah, today there's American Idol, yeah, there's Japanese Idol. So what is their problem with Indian idols? I don't know. Yeah. So iconic figures, so that what we meditate, what we think, we imbibe. As you say, as you think, so you become. Now I'll go step by step to explain what is sadhana, and especially spiritual sadhana. No? Because otherwise so many clutter now is going on in everybody's mind that, and of course whatever is being propagated, etc., when we don't understand what is the principle of yajna. Puja Gurudev's commentary on the Bhagavad Gita, where this word yajna is very often used, especially in the 3rd chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, we have to read that to really understand what yajna means. Yeah? As I told you, you have the app 365. I hope all of you have that, yeah, so that you can hear Gurudev, and you can even go back to that particular, verse. Not there, it's there on, certain places. So you can just go back and listen to those verses after I explain, and see how beautifully Gurudev explains it. Now the word yaj, simply translated worship, and worship we understand is some form of elaborate, paraphernalia, and nowadays we call it ritual. Yeah? Now first know the difference between worship and ritual. Brushing the teeth every day is a ritual. You every day getting up and saying Hari Om, what you do regularly is a ritual. Going to office daily, punctually, at the right time is a ritual. And why do you do it as a ritual? So that you don't forget. That which is important must be practiced punctually, regularly, and that becomes the word ritual. Unfortunately, the word ritual has been pointed out only as some form of worship, and as you give a wrong name for it and then mutilate the whole meaning, and then we who study only English get completely muddled up in our thinking. Sanskrit words have got so many dimensions to it. Please save, if not Sanskrit, at least one of your mother tongues, and pass it on to your children, and encourage them to pass it on to their children. There's a big reason for it. Lose a language and you've lost certain emotions, and you've lost certain way of thinking. Not only that you lose great literature which is available, but you lose a certain way of thinking, and we don't realize that. For example, every language is beautiful, even English is beautiful. But English was a commercial language, and till today it is a commercial language. Even scientifically you have to borrow words from Latin, is it not? And for motivation you have to get it from Sanskrit. Yeah? Corporate guru, yeah? Karma, don't you? Avatar, avatar. So it has to borrow these languages. If you don't have that vocabulary, you don't have, and psychologists will understand this, you lose a certain thought pattern, a certain emotion also. Yeah? Listen to the English songs and listen to all the old songs. Listen to the hymns and listen to the bhajans of saints and sages. If you know, you can see the difference. Both have beauty, right? But the depth of emotions that are there, you will not find that in so-called modern languages. Even modern Hindi film songs don't have that. They cannot have it. Yeah? because we've lost it. But listen to the old Hindi songs. How many facets of love? Not only, baby, you break my heart, baby, you hurt me. I mean, look at every English songs. What else is there, right? Yeah. There's nothing original. There's the same words being used in every song. That's happening also in Hindi songs now. But still, those emotions in Telugu songs, in Tamil songs, and still a lot is taken from the works of saints and sages. So what I'm trying to tell you is, lose a language and you've lost a certain emotion. Today, why can our mind be, twisted, polluted against our own religion, our own culture, which everybody wants to patent? But we are, and our children are made to be ashamed of it. Because you twist a word, translate it in a certain manner, and then it's so easy to make them think that this is ridiculous. No? Even the word idol doesn't mean a stone. You have American Idol, no? Michael Jordan is an idol for. So, an idol is that which represents an ideal. Therefore, in the Vedic period, no one can deny the importance of the sun in our life, fire in our life, rain in our life. Is it not? Many children are made to say, I have not seen God, therefore I don't believe in God. That's why we never spoke about this so-called abstract God sitting there with a thunderbolt to blast you every time you don't obey his command, which he gave to someone you don't even know whether he said right or wrong. This is not what it is. No? If you cannot see the spirit of benevolence, the spirit of giving, the spirit of sharing in the entire universe, and our Rishi said, well, you can't see in your universe, can you see it in your mother and father? Today they don't want you to see it in your mother and father because they are your deadliest enemy, you know that, right? So where will you have evidence of some higher power, some loving source which gives us non-stop? We think that we are getting fuel from the earth. Is it exhausting itself? Guru Nanak Sahib says so beautiful, Denda de le de tak paye juga jugantar khai khai. That one giver goes on giving, 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 giving. And we go on receiving endlessly. And still we don't realize that everything in our life, everything, was given to us. All we had to do is, what do we do with that which is given to us so that we can transform it and offer it to the universe, let us say it, back as a gift. In the house, paper is provided for you, pen is provided for you, everything mummy and daddy only have brought, isn't it? And they have given it to you. Now, you make a card out of it on Mother's Day and say, Mommy, I love you. Even those words, Mummy only has taught you. Yeah? But what does Mummy do? Yeah. The beneficiary of that is you. The giver is not you. Again, Guru Nanak Sahib says something very beautifully. That is the spirit of our Vedic Yajna. He says that Sabna jiya ka ik data so main visar na jai. May not forgive that there is one eternal giver for everyone. May I never forget that. But just as when you were children, Why to say nowadays children? When mummy didn't give you the ice cream or didn't give you money to go for a picture, a movie, you don't love me. You get angry. But at least you didn't get scarred for life. Now they get scarred for life. Shows only how delicate people are. Yajna as such means gratitude. When we appreciate what we have got, then only we really value it. If we do not acknowledge what we have, it is of no use to us. Even if we are making use of it, it is no use to us. For example, if right now sitting here, as I said, Trayambakam mantra also gives prosperity, because living in hunger, thirst, poverty is as good as death. While sitting here, this 1.5 hours, suddenly the markets have boomed. Yeah? It has boomed. Swamiji, can I open my phone? It has boomed. Now, if you don't know about it, can you cash on it? When you know only, then only really speaking, you have it. Arey, nobody takes this spirituality properly till you start going and spending so much money on these universities and on these motivational courses. Yeah. Each one of us on the first day, I said, have got infinite potential. Yeah. Yet a smallest project you take for your own life or anything, you struggle for it. Until someone reminds you that you have the capacity, or you put in an effort after listening to that and prove to yourself that you can do it, or look back in your past and think, if you did it, why can't you do it now? That's why the classic story that Jambuwan had to go and remind Hanuman that Pavana Tanaya Bala Pavana Samana, that you are the son of Pavan Devata. Your strength itself is like Pavan. But why is it that you are quiet? And then gives him a sense of purpose. And with that, the pride in his identity and the confidence that he can do it. And after that, it's not history, it's an epic. When he jumped across the ocean. Yeah. Ram kaj lagi tava avatara. That your manifestation is to do the mighty work of the Lord. And what is the Lord's work? Day and night give, 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 give. Is it not? Inexhaustible is the universe from which we can derive. If fuel is gone, we'll have lithium. If lithium is gone, there is sunlight. Oh, but lithium is gone, then how can we harness sunlight for so many millenniums? We never understood the importance of trees. They are the power gatherers of the universe, and we didn't appreciate them just to make some quick bucks. Yeah? Log them. And then monoculture did not even understand the importance of each creature that exists. I remember that in our yajnas, don't think yajna is only that, putting precious ghee into fire. That is one form of worship. Every day, every householder. Yeah. The 5 sacrifices, I'm not going to list all of them right now because then I have to explain. But one of them is Bhuta Yajna. Bhuta doesn't mean ghost, huh? Yeah. Bhuta Yajna. That each day, whether you water a plant or plant a tree or feed the birds. Recently, someone came to our Chinmaya International Residential School, which was made for your children and grandchildren. Otherwise, you would not have whatever you are facing right now. There, we had a nature conservationist. And he came and asked our children, why do you see that the sparrows are becoming extinct? Everybody has read on social media, it is because of 3G, 4G, and now 5G. 2G was never a problem. I told you, God and Guru, not a problem. But 3G, 4G, 5G, and all the sparrows have become impotent and therefore unfertile, and therefore their population has gone down. And therefore be careful, don't put phones in your pockets because those who put it near their heart attack. Yeah? So all these things, you keep hearing about it. So children said that. Do you know what he made everybody aware? It is not because of that. Certain birds live on human waste. Human food, like pigeons, like sparrows, like crows. Therefore, they found near human dwelling, and we consider them to be nuisances. He said, now that you have got air-conditioned kitchens, closed kitchens, your waste, food waste, and food is not a waste, it is food for someone else. And how much food we waste, and the waste food also we waste, by mixing it with plastic and just throwing it away. It can become compost. All this, understand, our rishis understood. Renewable energy is not a new science. Go back to our Indian knowledge system and all ancient knowledge systems. They used only renewable energy. And they lived their life productively. And if you can live a happy, productive life where you develop such sciences, you don't need skyscrapers to prove your technology. Even that they did. Yeah? So please understand that this word yajna, I remember my grandmother used to take 2 chapatis on a plate. There was no shortage of food. But her fixed diet, 2 chapatis with the vegetables. From that, half a chapati she would remove and put some vegetables on it and keep it aside, and then go and give it to the crows, or would give us to go and give it to the crows, which would come on the parapet of our balcony. Once I told my grandmother, I asked her questions, and I was always curious. I told her that, first of all, why do you have to take out from your plate and give? I mean, there's not less food in the house. If you want to give to the crows, you eat only 2 chapatis, and from that 2 chapatis also you want to give half. Why don't you give a whole chapati from there? That whatever is remaining will go. But from what I have, from what I get, I must share. See? Dieting natural. If you always feel like eating 2 chapatis, eat 1.5 chapati, even now, and your diabetes will go away. Yeah? You don't have to go for long-term intermittent fasting. See, they had all these, that if you get 2 chapatis or you eat normally 2 chapatis, from that half you give. And she mentioned her knowledge was amazing. She may not speak in what we call our language, But whatever she explained made so much sense to me that later on, even in college, I said, well, this all, time, space, travel and all that I have learned from my grandmother from Srimad Bhagavatam. Yeah? And I understood it much better than what my professors were teaching me. Only she didn't use E is equal to mc square. That even till today, nobody really knows what it means. Relativity is equal to E is equal to mc square. And how did Einstein teach it? One youngster went up to Einstein and said, I don't understand all these formulas, teach me relativity. Immediately took his hand and put it on the Bunsen burner. Those days they couldn't be sued. Yeah? And he was yelling. No. And he took it out. He said, how long did it appear? He said, I thought it will never end. And he showed him the time. It was just a few seconds. And Einstein said, last night you were sitting with your girlfriend holding her hand. How long did that appear? Very little. This is called as relativity. See? Now I've given you a class of relativity also. So she explained that. Then next thing, I said, but why give to the crores? And I'm telling you, till today, India doesn't have a good garbage collecting facility. That's why you go to big cities, garbage is flowing there. But who eats up all the organic food? Till plastic was not introduced to create havoc, which came to India about 35 years ago and created the whole disaster that they love showing it on the screen. Today also you go to the villages where there is no plastic. It is spick and span. Not only their homes, but you see outside. And my grandmother taught me at that time, it is these crows that take away all our waste, including our spit. That's why coronavirus did not hit years ago. Otherwise, where did you go and spit? Everybody just spat on the ground. And even that is something that Ayurveda says, that when something comes into you, sneezing, any other bodily, throughout, you must throw it out immediately. Of course, not on the walls with pan in your mouth. But that also, that saliva, you must find a place to throw it. Now, if you throw it on the soil, it becomes fertility for the soil. And there also, these bacteria, these beetles, these crows, whom we think is insignificant, sometimes even a nuisance. But I'm giving this long, elaborate explanation to be grateful for what universe the Lord has given us. And every bit of it, every creature is contributing to our existence. Don't think saving the world and ecology is a great favor you are doing. It is saving yourself. Therefore, these were the yajnas that you are getting from the environment, you are getting from nature, and you should contribute back to nature. And your contribution will be very little, but no contribution is insignificant. Yeah? So this is what is called as yajna in the Vedas. Today you call it as a fancy science of ecology to be studied in the colleges where you have carbon emission maximum, because everybody comes in motorbikes and cars. And we are talking about environment. Yeah? Why don't they make it compulsory to bring bicycles? See, think about it. Ecology is not a subject to be studied. It's a cultural heritage that is passed on. So that moment to moment, we live it rather than speak about it. This is what you call as our ancient knowledge systems. India is today probably the only ancient culture that is existing, with a little bit in China or Japan. Most places it is lost. Therefore, how important it is to save it. And our worship is not of some crucified God. Yeah? Not even some certain fanciful God, abstract or three-eyed or four hands. See what they hold in their four hands. See what they have on themselves to show that even a snake is important. So this is what our worship means. So worship is gratitude and contributing to nature as the crown of creation. We can only be ashamed that we take maximum and give minimum, that too also without knowing. Because if you knew that, you would also be constipated. Because we are so conjuice in giving anything. It reminds me of one conjuice. He would go and have bath in the nearby stream so that he didn't have to pay water tax or pay for the plumbing. One day there was a flash flood and he was being dragged and he was screaming, "Save me, save me, save me." Nearby neighbor saw this man and said, "Give me a hand." He said, "Why should I give my hand?" Arey, it is only to save you. Don't think that environmental catastrophe is not going to affect you. It's first going to affect human beings, because cockroaches will survive. Yeah? The only human beings that will survive will be the tribals. Urban people, they can't even fix their own toilet. They can't even fix their own meal today if there's no microwave. What are you going to survive? Now, when I'm explaining all this, is to understand what yajna means. That's why our mission motto is what? Pledge is what? Producing more than what we consume and giving more than what we take. Why this has to be said? Because we see as human beings our glory, that in such a short time, what is it that we have produced? But we don't see how much we have consumed. If we could produce so much, how much more for this earth we could produce and give back to the earth. But we only destroyed that earth for self-consumption, which we waste, and waste in such a manner that it cannot be used by others. Please don't understand yajna as just going and throwing some flowers. That is also a yajna to remind us that from him we received everything. And when we accept with gratitude, not only we see the importance and we feel loved, we feel blessed, we see how much we have in abundance, and only when you feel that you have in abundance will you contribute back to nature. So what is your puja? Does Bhagwan take anything? Whatever you offer, Bhagwan just takes your love from it. That you don't see. And the remaining you don't waste. You distribute it to everybody as yajna shishta or prasad. Thus our worship also was not just in a worship place like temple or church or mosque and just pray for yourself and come out. In our worship, we bring all the things that we can produce what we can cook nicely, what we can produce, and rather than waste it, what we do is we share it. And now that we see that it is from the Lord, it's not mine, therefore the spirit of Yajna is. If you see the Vedic Yajna also, that, O Indra, from you I have got all this rain from which all this productivity. Om Indraya Swaha Idam na mama. This is not mine. What keeps us limited, selfish, all the battles, quarrels, even at home, is because of this I and this my. This ego, this sense of individuality, selfishness, and attachments, possessions, my. And that is why I remind myself, from whom did I get it? Therefore, I offer back to nature, to the community, and not only to the community, but to every creature. Therefore, feeding of the cows, feeding of the birds, all is part of the yajna. Not like what you do now, you just put one oven and you just put some things inside, or on a Shivalinga you put so much milk, and that milk is supposed to be drunk, not to be sent into the drain, so that these journalists can write all this criticism. We have not understood what yajna means. Bhagavad Gita, Shri Krishna made every action of yours done with gratitude is a worship. Yeah? Whether you are a soldier fighting in the battlefield, whether you are a sweeper cleaning the, you're contributing to society with your duty. You might be making an income, but just see, with the income that you get, rather than grumbling that you're never paid enough, are you doing your duty towards those for whom you are being paid? Huh? If you're a teacher, don't sit and complain that the school doesn't pay you enough. It'll never be enough. But your duty as a teacher is teach the children well. You will get rewarded. Huh? And therefore, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, the performance of your duty with gratitude to the devatas. Devatas means not different gods. There was never different gods. No? The cosmic forces, the whole of nature, is yajna or worship. And each one can do it with their duties according to their swabhava, according to their swadharma, according to their nature, aptitude, their learnings, their profession, as well as their duties. And therefore, Sri Krishna brought that whole yajna from the Yajna-shala, from the temple to the very battlefield of our life. Now, all of you don't have to go and fight. Fighting to you do in your house. But if that spirit of Yajna would have been there, that very Kurukshetra, which was called as Dharmakshetra, had become a battlefield because the Kauravas had become so selfish. This is what Yajna is, and which is so simply brought out even when you do the Aarti. And what is the last line in the Aarti? Tera tujhko arpan kya lage mera. But you know why our Bhagwans are... Give your I and my and end all your problems and take all happiness. But each day you come say, Tera tujhko arpan kya lage mera, and come with a demand list. That's why Bhagwan is always, you say, our Bhagwan is always smiling. Whichever form, smiling. At least for that, meditate upon Bhagwan, because nowadays people don't even have smile on their faces. Yeah? See, all of Bhagwans at least are smiling. They're not miserable. So what you give back to the world is yajna. Every action when done in the spirit is what is called as karma yoga. Those of you studied the Bhagavad Gita, you know what benefit you get out of that. That your existing vasanas, the result of your past karmas, your limitations, likes, dislikes, selfish desires, all of them get exhausted and you don't create more limitations for yourself. So whether you are doing puja in your temple, whether you are chanting and improving your memory also simultaneously, do it, Bhagavan says, mad arpanam. Do it dedicating it to the Lord. Not one God, individual, my God, your God. Even there you have made my God, my God. There is only one universal giver. Yeah? And gives through each and everything in this world. And therefore keep going back to our mission pledge. The service of the country is the service of the Lord of Lords. Country is not a geographical area. And devotion to the people is devotion to the Supreme Self. This is called as yajna. But the whole spirit of yajna is the surrender of your ego, means selfishness, and knowing that you are, in the beginning, that you are as much an integral part of the universe by which you take, you give. You give, you take also. You are not independent that way. And therefore Krishna says, parasparam bhavayanta shreyam parama vapsyata. That in this mutual sharing, in this mutual gratitude, may you attain not only harmony, peace, but even the capacity to know your infinite nature. Yeah, but Swamiji, what about, our finances and economy? Before that verse, she says, Sahayagya praja srishtva purovacha prajapatihi anena prasavishadvam eshavo tushta kamadukha. It is this spirit of sharing that brings about cooperation and that brings about prosperity to that level that out of yajna you can milk out any desire of yours, even material desire, when people live in such a spirit of sharing. So this is called as yajna. And not how do you acknowledge your potential, how do you acknowledge how much you have so that you can use it, and how you can give and recognize how much more you receive when you give. I was just now traveling in the flight where most people carry credit cards. Some people are still, elderly people, are still into cash. And they still carry purses. So there was a bulging purse and I could hear 3 notes, 4 notes fluttering. One was saying, hi. They were introducing themselves. He probably must have just withdrawn the cash. They were introducing, they said, I'm a $100 bill and where do you find me? I come from, because they asked, Indians ask, where do you come from? Yeah. They said, I come from the casinos. Las Vegas. Here also you have casinos, right? No. Yeah, nowadays everywhere they are. Yeah, okay, good, banned. But I come from casinos. Yeah. $50 note said, hi, I'm a $50 note and I come from the restaurants. Yeah? The $20 note said I come from the malls. The $10 note said that I'm found with waiters and taxi drivers. Then they looked at that $1 note. It says, hi, where are you from? From the temple. When it's for the Lord's work, how minimalistic we get. Yeah? And when it's to make people drink alcohol, for each champagne bottle, what do you all spend? Just think. How much you spend on your dogs that you don't even spend on your parents. Yeah? See how the mind deteriorates. So what is yajna has to be understood. Now, all this sounds like a lot of work, bhai. And giving, to I tell you, it's too much, Yeah, too much, How much can we give? Yeah. If you don't know how to invest, you can never get more. And keep in Lloyd's Bank, it goes bankrupt in 2008. Keep in Lloyd's Bank, it never gets. Yeah? It comes back to you many times fold. Invest in nature, even without you knowing how much abundance you get. This is all called as yajna. No, it is not just kind of just one ritual, and when just one camphor symbolically needs to be burnt, people love to put 10. You get more blessings, is it? You get more pollution. But there is, and there's so many different forms of yajnas, as I said, that we do in the fire. In the fire also there are some very, very elaborate yajnas. All these are called as yajnas. Worship, even feeding the birds, etc., planting trees, all this is yajna. And most of all, each one being positive contributors to society, giving more than what we take. This is what yajna means. And can't we see that in the ideal of Bhagwan, whether it's Lord Vishnu, whether it's Lord Shiva? What does God represent in every religion of the world, and every deity of ours represent? That's why the hands are always, give your sorrows, take in abundance. Therefore Gurudev would say, don't be a dog-like beggar. Be a God-like giver. His I love you letters you must read. Every family must read together. I love you letters. So all this, and that is the expression of love. You can say, I love you, Mom. And Mom says, can you go to the grocery and bring me that? Can't you see I don't have any time? I'm studying. Matru Devo Bhava, Pitru Devo Bhava. So God means demand, give nothing. This is what we are. But in Gita, the very essence of yajna is pointed out. The very essence of love. Yeah? You cannot give abundantly until and unless you've got love. You can spend abundantly to get what you want, but you cannot give until and unless you have got love. And to give also, to be grateful also, to love also, even the very essence of love. In Narad Bhakti Sutra it said, Tad arpita akhilacharata, tad vismarane parama vyakulata. Now I won't go into elaborate explanation of it, but the essence of love is remembrance. Many husbands may have heard this, especially when you were young. You don't love me. But I love you. No, you don't love me, Why? You didn't remember the wedding anniversary. You didn't remember her. Remembrance is the essence of love. Remembrance is the essence of gratitude. And timely remembrance to share and give. And therefore, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, amongst the yajna, japa yagyosmi. Bhagavan says, I am the yajna of japa. You don't even require mala for it. You don't need any ingredients for it. Love really doesn't require anything but remembering and caring. And you have to remember to care. And in this mantra, japa would definitely mean what? Remember the glory of Trayambakam. Yeah? And we forget, and therefore repeat japa, japa, japa. There you understand the importance of mantra japa. And if we don't remember what we have received, we will crib for those one or two things that we don't get, and suddenly I'm an atheist. Remember. And the importance of remembrance cannot be understated, that in the Bhagavad Gita, in the end, what does Arjuna say? Smriti labdha. I've gained back my memory, even this knowledge, remember. And remembrance is there when you repeat with feelings. And that remembrance brings about that power, that potential, even to remind yourself. What did Jamvan do? Remind Hanumanji his power, his purpose. Rama kaj kari lagitava avatara. He reminded him that purpose. So remember this knowledge. Even at the time of death, Ishavasya Upanishad said, remember what we glimpsed at the feet of the Guru. Remember what we learned. Remember when we had the glimpse in meditation. Remember with gratitude what we received in this life. Don't go departing miserable. Aisi karni kar chalo, hum hase jag roy. The world pines for us. That's why japa. And that anybody, even a child, can do. Therefore, take up this japa yajna. Now you heard Maha Mrtyunjaya mantra. Yet, how much do we do japa? Make it as a regular ritual of repeating this mantra, or even whichever mantra you have been doing. But once you've understood how this mantra is, then you will understand that what is the significance of all the mantra. And all worship is actually invoking that infinite presence, that infinite power that lies everywhere and within us, which means the resources of the world and the talent of yourself. And therefore, this Trayambakam also, as I said, in the vocative case, Amba means mother. So it is invoking the three mothers, Durga, Lakshmi, Saraswati. And they are pointed out as the three powers we require to achieve whether material success and definitely spiritual enlightenment. Durga represents Kriya Shakti, Lakshmi represents Ichha Shakti, and Saraswati represents Jnana Shakti. To achieve anything in our life, we must have knowledge. Knowledge of the field, knowledge of its existence, knowledge of our potential, knowledge of the existence of a higher, more compelling truth, a permanent reality. Call it permanent love, permanent happiness, permanent peace, that we are not familiar in this world. The capacity to gain knowledge beyond our present understanding. How often, if you ever find yourself saying, oh, that I've already heard. Oh, very good. You know what you said? I've been telling my wife, but nobody listens to me. I liked it because you heard only what you wanted to hear. The capacity to know beyond our present knowledge, that Jnana Shakti is represented by Saraswati. Ichha Shakti. Yeah. We say, oh, desire to have got plenty. But that only motivates you into action, isn't it? Ichha Shakti means motivation in life. Not a dull life, nothing, life is useless. Yeah. Motivation in life. And Kriya Shakti, not only to have ideas and, oh, I'm highly motivated. Yes, I can do it. Yes, I can do it. But do it, Baba. We have to have Kriya Shakti. That power to perform in our action. And therefore, when you say Yajamahe, I invoke. And invoke through adoration. What we adore, what we acknowledge, we imbibe. All these meaning in the word Yajna. And what do we benefit from it? Jnana Shakti, Ichha Shakti, Kriya Shakti. These are the three mothers we worship. Yeah? And therefore, Trayambakam. That Lord who has these three Shaktis, these three mothers. And why mothers? Because mother is just ever ready to give. Yeah? But we have to receive. This is Yajamahi. Ari, but how do I have proof of God? And how can I worship God? I have not seen God. Where is God? Yeah? The next two adjectives, which I've explained in all this, so it won't take much time. The next two adjectives, Sugandhim, Pushti, Vardhanam, indicates to us that once we even decide to meditate, where is it that we cannot see the benevolence, the grace of the truth or reality? And with each, I will remind you one chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. So tomorrow is the last day, and this last portion of how and how many varieties where we can worship the Lord. And what proof do you need of the powers that lie within you in the universe and its source? So if anybody is looking out for proof, we'll have the opening of the third eye tomorrow. Then wherever you see, जिधर भी देखूं, जहां भी देखूं, बस तू मुझको दिखा रहा है. साधो हरि को हर में देखा. Where is it that you will not be able to see the Lord? And if you live in constant reveling. What depression, dejection, illnesses, none of this can be there in the mind of the devotee. Because name bhakta pranashyati. So these are beautiful, beautiful words in the mantra. So tomorrow will be the last day of these discourses. You're happy it's ending, no? Well, after 2 days you'll be happy that's ended. So if after 2 days you'll be happy it's ended. After class. Okay, so see that tomorrow come again with all your family members, last sessions, all the questions that your youth keep on asking and then you say you can't answer. Today also one of the youth asked me a question and the answer 1 minute was completely satisfying for them. Okay, so see that you bring them, school will be there, but this is a bigger university. Yeah, basketball will be there, drama practice will be there. If school can be missed for 1 day, all this can be missed for 1 day. See that our children get the benefit of all this. So see that you bring the whole family tomorrow together. Tomorrow being the last day, as far as all of you know, or most of you, if there are anybody new, please today and tomorrow inquire from our sevaks, reception desk, that what are the services Chinmaya Mission not only giving round the world, but in Houston itself. Many of you are part of Bal Vihar, Yuva Kendra, study groups, the regular sessions that are being conducted, the Seva projects that are going on here, all this, but please be aware, and if you are not regular, please be regular. You have a community. You have a place to grow. So please come together and see that once you are inspired, whatever seva you can do, and it is for the community only. Yeah? We can reach out to the larger community and let the maximum people benefit. So that is there, and therefore in the last but 1 day we announce so that you find out what services Chinmaya Mission is giving to you locally and how you can benefit from it. As you know, the place is already packed, the place is already small for all the activities. Yeah? And it is not only Bal Vihars, Yuva Kendras. Yeah? Please see that our Bal Vihar children then carry on to Yuva Kendra, where they will need it the most when they go out. Today, they can remain connected. So, see that Bal Vihar children join Yuva Kendra and parents continue. So that way the link will continue even for the children as they grow up to become youngsters, to become young adults. And they can bring their children to Bal Vihar, and that's how the culture passes on. So, Chinmaya Mission is not just Bal Vihar, Yuva Kendra, or just some study group or some lecture series. Yeah? It is a seva mission that Gurudev started with every moment, every breath of his life of this seva. Because first biggest dhanam is vidya dhanam. Imparting knowledge. But we understand vidya today only as school, universities, which is needed for our living. But to live our life, it is this knowledge. Don't give it less importance. For that, to reach out to the community and make service programs. Today, any service program, if you're talking about from the most rural development, and I don't even like to say the women empowerment program, but the women of our village, if you come to Siddhabadi, Dharamsala, Latikata, Sirwani, Tamil Nadu, they are a powerhouse of themselves. Yeah? While in COVID, everybody is trying to preserve money. even for their own centers, these village women, because as mothers they cannot, whatever they had learnt and credibility that they built through the years of their seva, if I tell you also the amount that they raised, and not out of even begging or charity, and saved 1,000 villages, not perishing because of the virus, but because of the economic disaster that would take place, because these are places where nothing reaches. In fact, they contributed to society more during the pandemic. If I even tell you the figures, yeah, it put all corporates, all banks, yeah, all CEOs to shame. Please go onto our website of CORD, see their newsletter, go back and see, and so humble that this is what we have learned, and how much have they learned from the Gita? Not even directly from Gurudev. And 5 or 10 women saved thousands of lives, and if they were gone, nobody would have even known about it. So from such rural villages, making them self-sufficient, developing the villages, today proudly I will say that in the politics of the villages, when I say politics, I'm not talking about government politics. The governance of the villages, out of the 5 panchayat members, 4 are women. And elected with majority, and most of them are the ones who from the self-help group of Chinmaya Mission have grown to get that credibility. And the way they are. Thank you for the applause for them, because even an unending applause is not enough. But I would be more grateful to you if you actually went on to our website of Chinmaya Organization of Rural Development. It's connected from our CCMT website, Chinmaya Mission website, and see what these village women are doing. Even for orphanages, home for the elderly, what you want to say, yeah? Feeding those who are hungry. But the biggest impact that Chinmaya Mission is doing, besides our spiritual development, is in the field of education. Today, Chinmaya International Residential School, which Gurudev particularly opened for NRI, but especially American children. He had envisioned it. Guruji was the one who brought into manifestation. And today, it's the top academic, and residential school is good for holistic bringing. Top academic school, not only in the country, but recently I've been told that in international baccalaureate, IB, from the marks that we see and from the averages, it's amongst the top 10 schools in the world. And the credibility of the school is not extra tutorial classes, no pressure on studies. They have a complete holistic upbringing with sports, with music, with art, with culture, with everything provided to them. Yeah. Including celebration of festivals, drama, everything. A holistic upbringing, and along with that, and value-based education, which is there in our Vidyalayas, and many of our Vidyalayas also are shining out amongst the top schools in the country. Today our children are in every possible reputable companies, positions, yeah. Even, really speaking, are admired at the government level. So, This is where Chinmaya mission is not just, some set of discourses. Gurudev's inspiration was that in whichever field you are, not only excel, but become positive contributors to society. And that is the impact that Chinmaya mission has got, that today the central board also has asked us to make the curriculum for value-based education in every school. That is what Chinmaya mission is doing. So it's a huge service organization which reaches out to every strata of society in India as well as abroad. A lot we are doing, a lot we can do even more. Puja Gurudev's 108th birth Jayanti is coming up. Let each one of us who call ourselves devotees of the mission of benefit, what can we do as individuals, as family, as a center to pay tribute to such a great master and his work? Next year after that is the 50th anniversary of Chinmaya Yuva Kendra, the youth movement. And let me say, I also came from that. If I had not seen the youth movement, I would be too embarrassed to be spiritual in those days. Yeah. And then comes the 75th anniversary of Chinmaya mission. Yeah. And how are we going to rocket our Gurudev's mission for the next millennium? How do we organize ourselves? How do we dedicate? And it is your dedication that you will put in these 2-3 years that will lead Chinmaya mission to serve generations to come. Yeah. Out of your gratitude, whatever you can do through your seva, through even spreading the word, let Gurudev become a household name. Yeah? If that much also we can do by spreading the good word, yeah, that itself will be a great contribution for the future, because people will study his works, people will take up his work, people will benefit from it. And we have also embarked on a huge project. You have all heard about it. Yeah? And that is the Chinmaya University. It's not just a Sanskrit university. It will also teach Sanskrit. It's a modern university, and this year, very happy to announce that we have been given permission to start the Science and Technology College of Engineering, where computer sciences, artificial intelligence, which still the brains come from India, and yet nobody invests in India for this kind of studies. So Chinmaya University, which is a modern university, education is in English, but its vision, again Gurudev's grand vision, which nobody had and till today don't understand that vision, that how we can revive our Indian knowledge systems, not just to be proud that we had cloning that time, Chanakya we had, zero and infinity we gave to the world. But what can our present generation give to the future of the world by integrating our Indian knowledge system with contemporary knowledge to create a generation of modern youth who will be able to bring the best of the two to the next generation. You can see in that one word, Yajna, complete ecology is there or not? So, if you understand that spirit and how to practice it, in our transformation, the world transforms. Even this university is not a small project. No individual can imagine of starting a university of this magnitude. Yeah? I take this opportunity also to invite you that whenever you go to India, these two besides of course various ashrams which you should visit, whether it is Powai, whether it's Siddhbadi, whether it is SIF, Shankar Nilayam, in Cochin, then Powai in Bombay, Vibhuti around Bombay, and Siddhbadi. Of course, Uttarkashi is also there for sincere sadhak, where Taponji Maharaj was. At least visit these. And besides visiting these, go and visit CIRS, where we are having our youth camp. Yeah? Please send your youth even once for a camp there. I'm not calling for the camps get full. But because they will see what it is, so that when they think about their children, they know that something like this is available. They send or not is a different story, but something like this is available. And please do come and visit. You must have seen the videos. I mean, they must have shown it to you. They'll probably show you tomorrow before class also. The campus itself, if you'll see, where all this education is going to take place, is so beautiful that you will wish that our university campuses should have been like this. So the best of facilities we are building, not wasting, but making for the conducive study of value-based education, so they will get, but they will get the integration of Indian knowledge systems with modern knowledge. So please come and see. And no one can individually build this. I am very open with everybody, because other than your well wishes, it is not a project that any individual can run. And such central project is not CCMT's project. It's our Gurudev's project, and only together we can build it. The whole project of building the university is going to cost us $100 million. I'm very proud to tell you that so far about 35 million, which is unheard of, from our Chinmaya mission devotees from around the world, we have been able to raise and bring it to this level of building. But even in the near future, for 2 years, we require another 50 million and a total 100 million for it. If any one of you wants to give for the university specifically, yeah, please contact any of our sevaks, yeah, and come up with your generous donations. If you are linked with universities, if you've got ideas, it's not just the money. There's so many things that we can do. And together only we can build such a phenomenal university. Any university costs today, building anywhere in the world, costs such amounts. But if Chinmaya Mission can build it, and 30,000 people contributed about 30 million, which is again a phenomena, because most universities, some people for their gain, they kind of put in the money. No? This is again something that Chinmaya Mission can be very proud of. And I am confident it is Gurudev's blessings, it is Gurudev's vision, which he said 35 years ago, that has manifested. And with or without any one of us thinking it is possible, it is not possible, it is impossible, it is still happening. And what if you are also a part of it? Even if you want to leave a legacy for it, for your children, that sometime they will say, my parent also were partners in it. Not commercial partners, but partners in building it. So, yesterday only I was in the meeting with them, and they said we need 170 crores in 1 year. And it is only one person's job to take responsibility for it. But that one person can do it only with all your help. No? So, whatever you can in your abundance, first of all, for our activities here and around the world, whether villages, etc., whatever you offer as Guru Dakshina goes for the seva of the, because knowledge, however precious it is given freely so that everybody can benefit from it. But it is our Rishi tradition, Hindu tradition, that no demands were done. But we should have the sense of responsibility that we have benefited, let the many benefit with whatever I can give out of my abundance. So that is the Guru Dakshina tradition. We are not asking you any money. Don't worry, tomorrow come back. Nobody is going to be demanding, Hare, give the envelope, then only you will get prasad. Please, there will be prasad given to you. Please receive it. Also, the books that you all did not get, Maha Mrtyunjaya Mantra book has arrived in sufficient quantity. So those of you missed, please take it. But I have another great joy, that this year in our PSC ashram, we released another book on mantras. I do not know. I can only say Gurudev and God has made me an instrument. Because once Gurudev appreciated my commentary on Ik Onkar, which also I spoke last time here, and the books are also still available. Yeah, the way he blessed me that I do not know. I am not some scholar. We have all learnt in the ashram, that I was able to. There are no commentaries available in English or any such thing on Maha Mrtyunjaya Mantra. And I remember from SIF they were saying, Swamiji, now you must write on all mantras. I said, where you can write on all mantras, right? But I do not know. From so many years, I used to just be fascinated by the Shiv Panchakshara Stotram. Many of you must be chanting, no? Nagendra Haraya Trilochanaya. I was fascinated. And after the pandemic, when I had to come and take the Vedanta course for the brahmacharis and brahmacharinis, that is the time I said, okay, I'll take this, that way. And what amazing things are there to contemplate upon just these 5 letters, Na, Ma, Shi, Va, Ya. And most people do this mantra. So that commentary has come. And another thing, Rupa from Houston, yeah? She's been doing a lot of work in COD, and one of the things is promoting this Pahadi art. When I started appreciating that, I found in someone's house a century-old art. And each of these letters somehow linked with each of those art pieces, so that we can even promote and appreciate our ancient art forms and Indian art forms, and see that we save those. So it is there for your meditation in this book. So please get it, and it will complement your study of Trayambakam Yajamahe, and it helps you to conquer the 5 types of fear. Don't ask me now, I'll tell you. Okay, and then we brought out all these invocation verses of Hanumanji during our Hanuman Mastak Abhishek. All this came out because I was made to do all these new things. Guruji just put this challenge on me. I'm giving you the mantras, I'm chanting it for you, you have to speak on it. And that Delhi mission brought it out as Leap to Liberty. Hanumanji is everybody's favorite. Yeah? And all the articles that come in Speaking Tree and all the newspapers, again Delhi gathered it as Life Changers, which we introduced in our Maha Samadhi camp. And of course, all-time favorite, Sankat Mochan. So they've told me to publicize it because the books have come and I have done my job of a salesman. But it is all for your benefit. Please take all these books or some of these books, and it'll be useful, and especially Sankat Mochan, those who are having problems in their life, sorrows in their life, they'll find how beautiful to find out the cause of it. Now I've said all these things, but at the same time, do come back tomorrow and we will revel in the last and most beautiful, glorious portion of this Maha Mrtyunjaya and how it directly benefits us here and now. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.